anyone who has a small business has to be able to talk about it in a really compelling way. I don't care if you're trying to raise money or get new customers or land a new partner. You need to reel them in with what our next guest calls an irresistible pitch. Carmine Gallo is a communication advisor and a best-selling author. His newest book is The Storyteller's Secret, reveals why some ideas catch on and others don't. And he's here to give us some ideas on how to create this irresistible pitch. I love it.
Thank you.
Your first point here is brilliant, which is use grade school language.
I like you already.
Well,
yeah, of course it's brilliant.
And people think sometimes, right?
Use grade school
that
language.
You want
That's
to use
absolutely
confusing
right. Yes.
or, jargon, and it makes you sound smarter.
Well, what's amazing is that in the last 10 years, we have learned more about how the brain processes information than we've learned in all of civilization. So we know what words work and what brain chemicals those words release, and we know how this works.
Wait, so if I read your book, I'm going to find those words? What are the words that work?
Simple words. Simple words. This goes back to Winston Churchill, who said short words are the most ancient, which means they resonate with people. So one of the first tips, like you mentioned, is use simple words instead of long, convoluted words or jargon. I like to say use 6th grade language. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, whenever they deliver presentations that are meant for the masses, meant to reach the widest number of people, they bring down their language, one-syllable words, simple words that actually are in a textbook tool shown to be appropriate for the 6th grade.
And by the way, I wouldn't think of this as talking down to people, because when you say 6th grade, it's just explaining simply what you do. I can't tell you how many pitches I've heard, and they leave, and I don't understand what you do. Just explain it to me in simple language. Don't fancy it up. Just explain what you do.
Well, simple, as Steve Jobs said, simple is harder than complex.
It is. Yeah. Okay, next one. Idea on the back of a napkin.
I actually learned that from Richard Branson, who said, Carmine, I hear hundreds of pitches every year. And he said, if your pitch, your idea cannot fit on the back of a napkin, it's rubbish. And specifically, an airline cocktail napkin, not just any napkin. It's got to fit on an airline napkin.
Can you write tiny with a really thin pen?
And again, simple is harder than complex. So it's really important to see the whole picture. But can I give you an example of one of the great business plans of all time? 2 men sitting in a bar, one drinking whiskey, one smoking cigars. This was in the 60s when they could do that. And they decide to create an airline. And they put it on an airplane napkin. And they draw a triangle. And on each side of the triangle, they have Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston.
We see it there.
That is the original business plan for Southwest Airlines, originally on a napkin, and that democratized travel for Americans.
Well, and I think the point is, your business may be complicated. Chances are it is. But the pitch has to be simple. The pitch is the thing that has to fit on the napkin. The business itself, the intricacies of it, that's a level down. The pitch has to be on a napkin. Okay, finally, and this goes to the napkin you just showed, show pictures, not words.
Pictures are much more persuasive than text or words alone. So if I were to deliver information verbally, and again, this is one of the things that we've learned in neuroscience. When I deliver information to you verbally, you'll remember about 10% of this conversation tomorrow. But if I were to show you pictures like that napkin, retention soars to 65%. That's very well established in the neuroscience literature. So why is it that salespeople especially are still giving PowerPoints like it's 20 years ago, full of text and bullet points? Instead, if you watch some of the best TED Talks and some of the best presentations, they're very visual, pictures over words. And that applies to whether you're using PowerPoint or one of my favorites is Prezi or an Apple Keynote. You can take your content and make it visual, but the story has to come first. You can't do that unless you understand the narrative first.
All right. Well, Carmine, thank you for coming on the program. I suggest that everyone read your book because I think this is very simple, important information that you're giving us for our irresistible pitches. So good to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.